You do it every time.
One clap.
There you go.
There it is. Welcome to the Get the Goods podcast. This is episode 38, right?
Ooh,
Yeah, episode 38, I think. Hold on, let me look.
I think so.
Yeah, episode 38.
That's good.
We've been doing it, y'all. We've been consistent.
We have consistent.
This has been a good run. We
That's
are almost into month 6.
We are.
Actually,
Oh
at this
my
point,
goodness.
we are into month 6.
It feel like we lived 8 years in these 6 months.
That's accurate.
Do y'all feel that way?
8
Yeah.
years?
8 years.
In
8
6 months?
Yeah,
No, I don't feel that way.
that's how I
I
feel.
can't even speak to
In the
that.
words of the great Beanie Siegel, I can feel it in the air.
Oh, yeah, I definitely can feel it in there.
We're live. We
Yeah.
got a small crew in here today. Eugene in
sir.
here, Jamel in here, Erica
sir.
in here,
Yes, sir.
Big Floss in the back, holding it down.
Yes, sir.
And Erica has something she wants to add on from the last
We got
pod.
retractions. Let's get it.
Oh, it's not a retraction. It's really just an add-on. And during the last episode, I talked a little bit about a black woman in Georgia who was unfortunately brain dead, and her name is Adriana Smith. And I just wanted to add a little bit more context because I don't think I shared her name last time. It's important to lift up people's names, and I wanted to make sure I lifted her up. Her name specifically, Adriana Smith, and just talked a little bit more about her story. And as I was just reading more about it, I was getting angrier and angrier about how, one, she had gone to the hospital to get some relief at first because she was having headaches, and they sent her home. They didn't do any tests. They sent her home, and she was pregnant at the time. Yeah, they sent her home. They sent her home, and she got sick. She got sicker, and her boyfriend realized something was really wrong and took her back to the hospital, but by that time it was already too late. And here's the other thing that's really sad. She was a nurse, and so she knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
But because of anti-blackness that is woven in, it's particularly misogynoir that is woven into medicine. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I'm still very angry about it. About one that it did not have to happen this way. And then you add on the other layer of the abortion ban in Georgia, which is the reason that the hospital is saying like we won't let her go, although she's brain dead, because of this abortion ban. Although the Attorney General in Georgia was like, you don't have to keep her on life support because of the abortion ban, but because the law was so confusing, the medical industry doesn't really know how to move. And the other thing that's really important for me to lift up is also that Sister Song, which is a reproductive justice organization out of Georgia, is, suing the state of Georgia over the abortion ban. But the whole case is, the case is deeply devastating. My heart goes out to her family. My heart goes out to her spirit. The spirit of Adriana Smith, and just what it means to be denied humanity and dignity in your life.
Still on life support?
When I was preparing today,
Okay.
And so I just think it's important to talk about how, particularly places like Georgia and Tennessee, like slowly kill black people, about how risky it is to be pregnant in places like Georgia and Tennessee, right? That black women are at least 2 times more likely to die from like pregnancy complications in Tennessee. And at the same time, we have an abortion ban. So it's just like, oh my God, there's a true attack on our bodies. And, right, that we know people who have lost their lives because they were pregnant in Tennessee. We know people who have lost their lives because they didn't have access to health care in Tennessee.
That's why we got to fight.
That's
we gotta fight.
That is exactly how I felt as I was reading it. I just got angrier and angrier, and I was like reminded of like, close family friends who like died because they were pregnant. They happened to be pregnant in Tennessee and not have access to like the health care they deserved. And so I'm extremely angry and have been. It just reminded me how actually like angry and how much rage I hold in my body because of how harmful this system is.
Yeah.
And there's a Asada Shakur in her book, you know, she says, you know, there's a piece, and I'm paraphrasing it, but she's like, you died, I cried, and I got up, you know, a whole lot stronger and a whole lot more deadly. Mm-hmm. And that just reminds me, like, it reminds me of your song, actually. I heard you first perform it last February, but it's like, no, I'm gonna get my lick back. Like, nah, like we gonna make this right.
No, for real.
Yeah.
And I remember at my cousin's funeral in 2019, my other cousin was like, hey, you know, what do you do for your work? Mm-hmm. And I was trying to, you know, say it to him. He's like, oh, you make shit right. Like, you that's your work. And it's like, yes, to summarize it, because it's messed up out here. And our work is to make it right. It's to organize people to make it right so we can live the full and dignified lives that our people deserve.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm on. I mean, I've been on that consistently. It just ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say, it's interesting. Like, that story is hard for me to dig into, especially having like direct experience with the industry, like literally losing a child, and having the mother be like, "Yo, like my stomach it's a unique pain that I've been feeling for 4 weeks."
Yeah.
And the doctor being like,
It's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing we
"You
can
go
do.
home." You know what I'm saying? Put your feet up. But then at the end
And
of
then
the day,
can't even take off work.
you can't even take off work.
Can't even don't even have the ability to be like, I'm finna take off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take care of myself, or even sometimes the community to support you through that process.
And what's been hard, just like, and I know she's been going through her own thing, you know, talking about the person that like I was directly expecting a child with. I know she's been going through her thing. The thing that's been difficult on this end of it is like, one, not really having the language to explain what happened. You know what I'm saying? Because we lost a child at 19 weeks. And so it's really hard to grieve the pregnancy, right? Because I mean, when someone gets pregnant, the whole community is expecting. It's a really beautiful thing happening, right? But then for the person who knows their body to be like, something is wrong, and be saying that over and over again, like, I know something is wrong with me, right? And then going to doctors over and over again, doctors being like, everything's okay. Well, and then all of a sudden one day, the pregnancy is just over, which is just a crazy thing to experience. So my heart really goes out to everyone who has experienced that, because I think it's a lot more people that have experienced that, not in the particular way was the atrocity that's happening in Georgia right now, but I think it's been a lot of folks that have experienced losing a pregnancy because of, I want to call it malpractice.
Neglect.
Yeah, medical neglect. That's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's a community conversation that we need to have and do something about.
We should bring a medical professional up here.
Yeah, and I would even say people who are organizing around reproductive justice, like who are doing that important work.
And I think
Sister Reach, Sister Song.
I think also, like at a very core level, it's also important to talk to your people around you, right? Because I realized going through this situation that my mom had been through something similar, that folks around me had all been through something similar. And so that has helped me process and get through the situation. So also talk to folks around you, because it's folks around you that are struggling with similar things, that have experienced similar atrocities, but just are not saying nothing about it really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just holding it and carrying it themselves. And really why we create the Black Nashville Assembly. Because it's a lot of things that we're all experiencing, but we have no platform or no space to string all of that together.
Connect the dots.
Because it's the solutions that can be born out of connecting those dots.
Yeah, and power in seeing each other. So I definitely, my heart goes out to you as well, and the person that you were expecting with. I know that can be extremely difficult, so I'm sending y'all a lot of love. I'm just praying that, you know, not only do y'all get the care that y'all need and deserve, but also that we build a world where people can be whole and safe and get the dignity they were worthy and deserving of.
No, for real.
That's real.
Yeah. We definitely need that.
Yeah. And so I know I started us off with a heavy, but I just felt like it was really, really important to name that, and, you know, to talk about what we are up against, because we know we fight because we live the reality of what it means to live in systems that don't care about us. And so go ahead.
And what I was saying, I think it's important that we have these conversations, especially in the public, because the public forum needs to be able to hold these conversations.
Yeah.
Because these conversations are not public and everyone is struggling.
Yeah, it's just like whispers. We're gonna hold it behind.
Therefore, nothing can solve it. Like because it's if everyone is dealing with the problem, but no one says anything about it.
It's kind of like we just quietly go. It's just like, oh well, we just quietly go away.
Right.
Because I'm gonna grieve. I'm gonna feel my rage and hurt, but I'm gonna be chill about it. But it's like actually. Let's invite each other into sacred like mourning and grieving, and there maybe we can find some power.
Right, and that's I was going to ask you, like, what other news or information have you been following, like at this point in time? Because the cross section of everything that we do is, because you told me this at one point in time, the cross section of everything that we do is creating an environment where everyone can reproduce in whatever way they want to. Whether that's with labor, whether that's with children, everyone can be fairly compensated and produce.
That actually does lead me to my next piece of story, which is, again, and so I'm appreciating the way in which we know what we are up against. We know our people are fighting. And so I'm thinking about the Philly Black Workers Center, who got a major win in Philadelphia not too long ago via the Power Act, where the mayor in Philadelphia signed into a law like workers have been organizing around this for a while. And so I'm just really proud of the Philly Black Workers Center, their role in like really getting the Power Act passed. And so they were able to get a major win that protects over 750,000 workers across the city, particularly domestic workers, which is important because that's a lot of times that's women of color, that's black women, and so that is like significant, and so it protects non-union workers, which is really, really important because union workers oftentimes they have quite a bit of protections, but non-union workers don't. And so they were able to pass along with, it's a coalition of like worker centers and people who organize workers that passed the Power Act, which is like, it stands for power, protect our worker, enforce rights. And so
love a good acronym.
Right. And the really dope thing about it, I just want to cover two things about it. One, not only does it expand protections against retaliation for workers that speak out against abuse, which is really important because so many people experience like sexual harassment, they get their wages taken or they're not given to them, like, and then when they speak out about it, it's like, oh, well, we're going to take away your job or reduce your hours. It strengthens labor enforcement of existing labor laws, holds violating employers accountable, and then also ensures that city government has the tools and resources to protect workers, which is really, really important and something we can think about in a state like Tennessee that has been like really undermining workers' rights for a significant amount of time. The other thing it does is started like a worker justice fund. So if you like are facing some type of issue, that you actually have access to some funds. And I'm like, that is so powerful and so beautiful. So shout out to Philly Black Worker Center.
Now, is this the same, and I feel like this is the same coalition that stopped the new arena?
So I think it's like different, it's different people. Like Philadelphia has amazing, like, I think has a huge and strong foundation of like organizing and getting wins, but I think it's some of the same players.
Because we talk about political windows, so it felt like when they stopped the new, I think they was building a new like sports arena in Chinatown. When they stopped that from happening, it felt like then that coalition, on the momentum of that,
had been working on this bill for a few years, even before that. But that don't mean the momentum wasn't like they were able to build on different pieces of different wins.
I was on a George Jackson car, and this is I'm gonna tie it all together. I was on George Jackson, the group, I'm blanking on it, but there's this group called the George Jackson School. I was on there talking about our varsity spending plan win because it was a bunch of folks that are looking to be organizers or looking to do issue-based campaigns. And so somebody asked me a question. I can't remember what it was, but my response is, it sounds like you need to break the campaign down all the way to a point where you can win and think about momentum and building up, right? Versus trying to take the large thing on. What if we crack a window first? and then just keep cracking that window and then go through that political window. So I like hearing about campaigns like that. They can be connected
and
to
shout
other
out
ones.
to Philly. Shout out to
Philly
all
be
the
doing their
homies
thing.
in Philly, like all the folks so many people from Philly, like we throw down with and support our work. Like I can think of like 5 on my hand. And so shout out to y'all and y'all's energy. We feel it in Nashville.
Yeah. What?
I feel like I'm in a blender.
Yeah.
Not in the bad way.
Not in the bad way. That was
It's
just, that was,
No,
I didn't see that
You
turn of,
didn't see it.
yeah, I didn't see it
But
coming.
It's really because it's like
It's important. It's all important.
It's like actually like particularly black and working class women who don't have access to the things they need and what it feels like for us to experience the harshest pieces of that, and then to see a win that in many ways it'll protect actually quite a few black and working class women.
Can I do mine?
Yeah, go
my
for
news
it.
next? So my news is gonna definitely be connected to this, right? So first, did y'all see what David Banner said? Don't unionize. Did you see what he told workers?
Bruh, no.
Did
And
Yeah.
niggas get some great hair and people start acting
But
like.
always teetering
But hold
on
on,
that like
hold on. Let
conservative.
me go on my conspiracy mind, right? That got to do with my news.
Who did he tell not to unionize?
Hold on, let me
I
explain.
love David Banner.
Let me explain it.
But when did he become
No, for real.
Negro Damas?
God,
when
box.
did this
It
happen?
don't take that long. It don't take much.
It just happened. It was like a
Say a few
rebrand.
queens and pieces.
And wear some wooden jewelry.
And walk outside barefoot.
Nigga burned 2 incense and all of a
grounded.
sudden he Malcolm X. I don't understand. But I don't know what he's done. I don't know. But
Say more.
it seems.
This is where my conspiratorial mind
Say
comes
more.
into play.
Oh my goodness, it's a lot. You
So
doing a lot for me right
so
now.
Philly workers get a tremendous win.
Okay.
So a beautiful operational unity. They get a coalition win, and then all of a sudden we get a black man.
But who did he say not to unionize?
He said something to the effect of workers unionizing prevents them from
What?
negotiating.
That's literally what the right says.
That's how you
literally what they
negotiate,
say
is by
in
unionizing.
Tennessee, but he's from Mississippi too, so they probably passing the same type of legislation in Mississippi that they doing.
Yeah. But I say that to say, have y'all been also paying attention to the Deontay Kyle backlash?
Hold on, I just need more information. When
Yes,
did-
no,
when-
because I'm not done with David
You
Banner.
can't just say that. And
Okay.
When did he say this? And where?
Recently, the
About
main-
who, where, what?
David Banner got. Okay, let's ground it. David Banner got hip hop classics.
What's
do.
the song?
Musically,
He do.
I love
He
David
do.
Banner.
He do.
I
not-
know one song. And it's
Yeah,
the workout
don't even
song.
worry about it.
Okay,
though.
go ahead.
Don't even worry about that. Why?
Is he our leader?
Why does he believe that he's the governor of Black America?
Because the Prince of Praying Africanism called himself the president.
president, yeah.
So
That's
people
all-
can't just be declaring themselves leaders.
Yeah, why? It's like
The people
I
have to choose
understand.
you.
It's T.I. fault. It's T.I.'s fault. I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
T.I. called himself the king of the South.
Yeah.
And we just said, bet you
But
the
that
only
was-
one that said
I
it.
thought he was referring to music.
Yeah, but at the time he was right.
Yeah.
But you sprinkle a little. All it takes is a little bit of brainwash.
Well, he also said on Drink Champs one.
That's
Said on
how
Drink
David
Champs.
Banner said it?
David Banner said on Drink Champs.
Okay.
Two,
need
I think he was
context.
talking about rappers. He was saying rappers shouldn't unionize.
Oh, okay.
But that's
But that's still
That's
like
still the
What?
same
No.
core concept though.
No.
Look, man.
what?
David Banner, I would love if you sent me a pack of beats. but I would like.
Maybe I can make a song about workers' rights.
No.
together.
We gotta have a conversation first.
this,
You can help.
I had a larger point.
Okay,
Okay,
sorry.
This is a larger point. It's really important for our artists to be members of organizations.
It's so important.
That's
is
what I was trying to get to.
important point, yes.
It's very important.
But this is my thing too.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know. Maybe we just was raised differently. My thing when I came into the organizing space, it was like I'm gonna shut up because I don't know. And there's people here that have been doing this for a long time that have the information. My move is to listen, learn, and whatever talents I can contribute. When they are necessary, I will contribute them. That's, I think, how artists should move. I don't think just because you may be a compelling speaker or have a certain level of influence that you know what you're talking about.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And maybe, you know what? I haven't heard what he said. Maybe we taking it out of context. I don't know.
I'm gonna dig deeper.
But But I don't know why David Banner is always talking. It's like, who
He
needs
do be
Ja
acting
Rule
like
at a
the
time
leader.
like this? I'd be so confused. I was like, what does David Banner have going on these days?
I don't know, bro.
All right.
I don't
No,
know.
he is
I
walking
don't
around
know.
like the woke.
Shout out
king.
David Banner.
Yeah,
Hey,
love David
shout
Banner,
out black
man.
men
Shout
in the
out.
South with an opinion. We're not throwing people away.
No, we're not throwing people
Okay?
away. No, we're not
We're
throwing
going to be patient with our people.
No, we
We
are.
are.
Right? And then we're going to be
And
patient
I'm
with our
curious.
people again.
I'm gonna know. I want to know more what he means.
And at the same time,
I'm curious about what he means.
But too much
And-
patience is what?
oh,
Cowardice.
cowardice.
Thank you.
Shout out to George Jackson. But I said all that to say it's important for our artists to be members of organization. Like I went to this museum and it was all this black art, all this social commentary. But then when I get to looking up the artists, none of the artists are in the organizations. So I'm like, is this just your thoughts in your head? Like you ain't really bounced this? You know what I'm saying? This not a product of collective political struggle. This is just a product of what you think,
Well,
which is cool too, though.
Yeah, I think that's
Well,
oftentimes
that
the case
is fair
as an
because
artist.
when people join organizations as artists, they do get more clear on a particular politic and
Yeah.
where they want to move people.
Yeah.
And they make different choices.
Yeah, that's so.
I
hold
feel
on.
like you're alluding.
What you
I'm
talking
just
about?
saying.
I feel like you're alluding to something.
I'm
Care,
not like it's
care to
something-
elaborate?
I think I don't know. I'm just thinking about even how we look at
Yeah.
people, particularly in the maybe the era of Amiri Baraka, and even before that, the era of help me out,
Emory Douglas,
Emory Douglas,
Bombara.
James Baldwin. Like I just think people were organized and
Yeah.
in proximity to movement in a different way.
Yeah.
And so I think that informs your choices and how you move through the world. And you can tell some of these artists ain't got no home.
And that is, some may say, the fault of organizers in their area.
I can see
Because
that.
it's our responsibility.
But they be so the other thing, my bad. I mean,
What came first, the artist or the organizer?
I
say?
have more thoughts.
Well, what
to
I'm
add
saying
to
is
it.
this.
Yeah, come on.
Absent a space, let's say you in a town where ain't no organization to join, right?
Yeah.
And you're experiencing capitalism, white supremacy in real time, and you're an artist. It's going to come into your work. You may not have the greatest, sharpest analysis.
Uh-huh.
You know, your school system may not be the best. Your parents may not have educated you on this. So it's not entirely the fault of this person to speak on what they're experiencing from the perspective they're experiencing it from. I think that is the job of an artist.
Right.
But if there are organizers in that
Yeah.
environment and they don't invite those people in to organization and extend that opportunity multiple times, then it is the fault of that organization.
Well, I do want to say this. I have two thoughts there. One, too many times, particular artists, particularly black artists, are sometimes like surrounded by not well-meaning people who are like, I just want to protect the product, and I gotta keep people like y'all away.
Oh, yeah.
And
'Cause it's dangerous.
oftentimes they don't even look like us. Like it'll
Yeah.
be some random like
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And they like, nah, I'm the gatekeeper between you and them. And so I think that's important to consider too, that it's actually like 3 people you gotta get to even get to them. But the other thing that's really interesting, shout out to Brittany Howard, who rocked with us in January.
Oh, here we
Yeah.
go.
You know what I mean? Who
Hardcore.
threw down, like really, had a whole concert.
Yeah.
Brittany Howard and her partner,
Yes,
who
sir.
consistently support the Southern Movement Committee.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm just thinking about people like in Nashville who have thrown down with movement, and so I want to shout them out, along with so many other people, including Mike Floss.
No. I'm just referring to a large community of black artists in Nashville that have supported
Yeah,
the Southern
it's
Movement.
huge. It's actually significant.
Yeah, we get a lot of love. We get a lot
Yeah.
of love for artists. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love for Jill Scott to rock with us.
Oh yeah, man. Shout out to Jill.
She-
Jilly, and she from Philly.
Yeah, we
it's
need
all
Jill.
connected.
It's there.
We need
It's
Jill.
all connected.
What a
We
way
need
to round
Jill.
Call
it back.
Brittany. Brittany, call Jill Scott.
I do think it's an opportunity for folks to like recreate themselves. Like even in the example that Mike was talking about, and even in the time, I think the time that we live in, we need to start recreating. You know what I'm saying? Our values. The sky's the
We
limit.
can sharpen them. Yeah,
Absolutely, every single time.
I love that.
And I like the idea of like black folks stepping into consciousness. It's very much so like even thinking about myself is like it's very much so like watching a toddler take their first steps.
Oh,
It's
man.
like they don't know how to walk, but they gonna get it.
Yeah.
They finna get it. And
I
I
like
think
it.
sometimes too, the issue is when your platform is sky high and your access is sky high, people think that means you know how to walk.
Yeah.
When really you still a toddler and like you're understanding. So I think sometimes too, we as people, if we are well intentioned, and as artists and as people with like a certain level of influence and loud voices, what we got to do is take a step back and say, before I begin to use the things that have been afforded to me from work in another area, before I completely just go head first with these new things I'm learning, I should take a step back and make sure I'm patient and also talk to some people that are experts in the field that I'm speaking on.
And be in conversation. I love that. Being in conversation.
And we all are work in
struggle
progress.
together.
Ain't nobody perfect.
Well,
For sure. Did y'all have other news?
I did want to talk about the Deontay Kyle thing.
Come on
Speaking
with
of transformation.
Come on with it.
Okay.
Did you see? I'm pretty sure you haven't seen.
It's
Did you see the
flooding my
clip?
timeline.
What, black men being mad at black men for speaking in support of black women?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's on my
that broke the mold.
Yo,
What?
yo,
Deontay Kyle might be the president of Black America.
No,
yo.
but can I
He
say
unseated
something?
Umar. Oh
But,
I need a Deontay Kyle and Dr. Umar debate.
oh,
no!
Yeah.
You talking about setting the
because
internet
Yeah.
on fire?
You
Yeah.
have a difference between like, oh, I just like black queens as this thing, this entity that I can hold out, and then this like appreciation and care, and like I actually want to understand and follow the leadership and be in collaboration with black women. Like
Nah,
that
for
is
real.
different, and somebody else was talking about that. But before you get into that, I do want to say how. Maybe for a moment y'all might have seen the place that I was in last time we were on the podcast. And I was like, I'm actually a little terrified of where some black men are.
Yeah.
Where it's
real.
like, oh, you actually
Yeah.
don't like black women.
No.
You actually don't like
Some of them
black,
don't.
queer, and trans people. Like you actually don't. You don't even like yourself.
Yeah.
And this these who you left.
Yeah.
What we doing?
I ain't gonna lie.
You know,
These type
and
of moments.
this wave of conservative.
That's what I was gonna say.
shift
That's what I was gonna
to
say.
being conservative.
That's what I was gonna say.
And then being loud about it.
Man, loud.
And
I have a
not-
take.
Okay,
Being
you
loud.
want to talk about Deontay, then you, or how we want to do
I
it?
think we all talking about Deontay.
Yeah, we
Okay,
talk
go
same
ahead.
thing.
Okay.
You know what I think we're seeing this backlash of black men in the comments. I think black men have made mistakes. They have done, or they have caused harm, and they feel guilt about that harm. But they like, I ain't no P Diddy though. So now you fighting your guilt, and you also trying to distance yourself from accountability.
And transformation is hard with shame.
Yes.
But sometimes you gotta go
It's
through the
gu- I'm
process of
telling you,
gotta
shame
get through
so
the
then you
motions.
can
There's
come out
shame
on the other
because it's
side.
shame and guilt woven all in there because it's
Yeah.
like I don't want to be responsible for him and that because I'm already holding something that
Yeah.
I don't know how to be
No, that's
responsible for
real.
anyway. So
And
I
feel
can't
like
take on
talk to
his
nobody.
thing.
And also
Yeah.
part of why you can't talk to nobody is because how the criminal legal system is like, I'm gonna just throw you away. Ain't no transformation,
dangerous.
ain't no healing, ain't
And
no
even
justice.
public opinion. I mean, people take an accusation as law, and that's because again, the criminal justice system.
But it's also because not that.
Hold on, I want to land my
bad.
point because
I'm
it
sorry.
sounds wild what I said.
Yeah, it do.
So-
I'm sorry.
And I didn't get to finish my
Go
statement.
ahead.
What I'm saying is the
Yeah.
reason why people have taken it upon themselves to be like, we got to protect ourselves from this person that's accused because they don't have no faith in the system to protect us, right? We don't have no faith in justice actually being served in the court of law. We don't have no faith in policing. We don't have no faith that if somebody's hurting me, the system even cares that that's happening to me.
Right.
So I got to take it upon my own self and my community to say, okay, who do we need to watch out for? And we just don't handle it ourselves. That makes sense to me. What I'm saying is, absent this egregious system, maybe we come up with something different as a way to hold each other accountable and to still be in community with each other or have different processes for folks to make different decisions.
And I just think conversations on what we seeing like right now on the internet are sobering because it reminds me how far away we are from actually being able to hold each other in true accountability. Because I'm like, people don't even like. There's a whole group of black men who literally don't even like black women, like hate black queer and trans people, hate black women, hate black kids, and it's like they wouldn't even.
Do you think they actually hate them though, or do you think that's,
I think there's an
something
extreme
else
absence of love, extreme absence of care, and it is manifesting itself in
manifesting
like that. And it is
That's real.
It is terrifying.
Let me send a message to you little boys. First of all, let me send a message to you little boys.
Let's go,
because there's a lot of fragile little boy energy going on. So first of all, let's just grow them up a little bit. One, if somebody asks you to emotionally mature, makes you feel some type of way, grow up. One, two, it's time for folks to act their age. You know what I'm saying? We over 30. We 36. Should nobody be making you feel less of a person? You know what I'm saying? No matter who they are. If you can't sit next to a queer person because you scary, you too fragile to be out here, man. Go in the house.
Okay,
read a book.
Come on.
Watch a YouTube video. Go talk to your daddy. Go do something.
Look, go inside and play with toys.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Where did the toughness go?
All right.
Where did the toughness
No
go?
more solid food for you, my nigga. You on applesauce,
all that, bro.
yogurt.
You warm your milk up before you go to bed. Crazy, boy. What we doing? For real, what we doing? This why I said this. It's because I'm on the phone. I'm talking to Mike because Erica going. Look, I'm on the phone with Denzel. I'm on the phone with Denzel. And Trey. We're on three-way.
Erica ain't here, bro. What's up?
Well, I'm on the phone with Denzel and Trey on three-way, right?
Yeah.
Definitely men that hold me accountable. Definitely men that I rock with. Definitely understand their value. I fully trust them at all times. Trey say, hey, have you seen this Deontay Kyle thing? I'm like, can somebody send me the link? Can somebody send me the video? Because the video I saw was all him saying is men need to be held accountable for their actions. So Denzel send it. I said, hold on, this the video everybody talking about? We talking about basic accountability? Yeah. You can't take basic accountability.
Yeah.
I thought in kindergarten we was told, when you do something wrong, acknowledge it. But don't do it again. Yeah. That's accountability. So you telling me that you can't hold that? You are the most fragile. I thought I got a pretty manly daddy, okay? He used to tell me, son, when you get older, men are gonna become tougher to be around. Now I thought he meant less fragile. Now I think he meant it's like being around glass. Yeah. Like men.
That's a fair point.
I thought he meant
They have very low levels of emotional regulation.
Like, oh, maybe do this way. It's like, oh, it's a whole thing, which is why there's this whole thing where women are like,
listen to me.
Where there's this kind of move, a thing where it's like, I gotta be soft,
listen
I gotta
to me.
be quiet, I gotta submit. What?
Listen to me. We are blessed. Hold on, listen to me.
So you're not in your feminine?
Hold on, let me say something.
My masculine.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
It's like
she back. Bring the gorilla in here.
Hold on.
Get the gorilla.
Hold on. Let me make one particular point. As a black community, we are blessed to have some of the smartest and most decorated black women ever.
That's real.
And you telling me they can't straighten you up?
Look.
You telling me everything they suggest is wrong? If she tell you your shoes untied, you mad? That's on the front of your manhood? What type of fragile shit we on?
I don't know.
Go home.
Well,
then.
I want to
get you a remote job. Stay in front of the computer all day.
Hold on, wait. All right, time back in. Erica, clean it up.
I'm not trying to clean it up. I'm just saying, like, I think what Jamel has been talking about, one of the ways we are seeking to address it through like our work of organizing is also our community circle. And so I'm excited for the past, 6 months, we've been piloting a men's circle as a way to invite, black men, particularly in Nashville,
100%.
to be in conversation, to heal and to grow and transform together. I can't wait to hear how that went.
And I appreciate that. And that's why I'm allergic to fragile men again. Because hold on, time out.
That's good, Erica. I like what you did.
Because I have been,
that was professional.
No, because I have, and we're on the podcast. I have been sitting in circles with men talking about real stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Talking about how other men in their life have influenced their lives, the type of men they want to be in the future, the type of men they want to be to support their community, how they want to be really in support of black women, how the liberation of black women has to be the thing that's in the forefront because they liberate us all and future generations. And then I turn on the internet and see comments calling Deontay Kyle out about saying men need to be held accountable for their actions. It just blew my mind.
Well,
I thought he said something. I just really thought he said something that was really, really crazy.
And I also think this is the beauty of like being in an organization too, because it alters these conversations, right? So like we see people, they go off on the internet, they do their thing, whatever. Everybody has some kind of commentary. But if we're not organizing to build a better future, if we're not bringing our people in closer to figure out how we can actually solve the problem that we all frustrated about, that we all have these difference of ideas about, then we ain't here talking for no reason. So go ahead, Eric. I just want to say I appreciate
that.
I
Makes
agree
sense.
with what you said. I feel like Jamel and I have this conversation often where I'm like, what do we do with the people who you talking about are fragile? And my thing is like, can we, maybe the first wave is to kind of be like, can I invite you into the mid circle? Can I invite you to grow? Can I invite you to heal? Because I think we owe it to the people who are in community with them to do that. And it's important for us to do that with people who, everybody.
And I appreciate you saying,
all black people, the people who are in our base, who were accountable to, who were responsible for.
And I appreciate you saying that. In the spot that we stop at every single time is, what do we do with the people that are rejecting the invitation, that won't step up to the plate, that won't come, that know it's happening, and just will not be held accountable to a community.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just don't think. I think sometimes can you and I figure out the bridge between invite people in and the people rejecting it? Because I'm just like, I guess it feels important to me that yes, some people are being fragile. Some people are being like, I'm deeply terrified of accountability. I carry so much shame and guilt. But have they also been even asked into a process? And so I'm saying like, yes, the people who rejected, cool, we got to figure something else out. But for the people who have yet to be invited, have yet to be asked into a process, we got to do that.
Yeah,
we owe it to the 21-year-olds, even the 34, 35-year-olds, because at the end of the day, you said it. It's a little boy inside of there who has been, who likely has not experienced care, the nourishment, the love that he needed to grow up and be emotionally available and accountable. And so I think that's all I'm saying.
No, I totally agree. I think the part that kind of played that, like, I totally agree, right? I totally agree. I just want to say I agree, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all. And I think there's two assumptions that oftentimes go around. The type of men that will reject that invitation are not normally around me personally. Just to be clear. Just to be clear, right? It's a reason why even the men's circle that we do have are people that have been associated with each other for a very long time, right? That's the reason why it works, right?
One way or another. Yeah.
Two is like I have a very low tolerance for men over the age of 35 who have not sat with themselves at some point in time. I have a very low tolerance for that, and I know that's not you, that's me. I have a very low tolerance for men over the age of 35 that can't see themselves in the mirror, and I'm not talking about folks that don't have the capacity to. I mean people that literally walk past the mirror and don't look at themselves, like, at all, not struggling to, but not even making the attempt. I have a very low patience for that over the age of 35, because sooner or later you grown. And if you can say some stuff like that, then you have the ability to sit down and think to yourself, what can I do better today? Yeah. So I think that's where the kind of rubber meets the road. But I ain't gonna lie, men over the age of 35, they get very little patience with me. Love them to death though, because we have to continue to issue the invitation for people to be organized, correct?
Mike is looking at my face.
Yeah.
Oh my God, because I do have like lots that's coming up here. But go ahead, Mike.
I just want to say, to answer your question, but I think the answer is we continue to grow the space. So
absolutely.
Like, if there's men that are rejecting the invitation, right?
Go to the ones who are
Who knows what the factors are as to why they're rejecting that invitation? There's probably a bunch of factors. Whether we respect them or not, it's a bunch of them there.
Absolutely.
I think we continue to grow the space.
Yep.
Because at one level, if the men's circle is 20 men, it's easy to reject it. The men's circle is 100 men, it's easy to reject it. If a men's circle is 50,000 men having men's circles throughout the city, now it becomes a cultural norm. So rejecting that is going to be a much more different process, especially
absolutely.
Because as time passes and generations grow up with that being the culture that we create, now it's something that we're growing up in. So eventually, it may be a wave that has to fade naturally with the passing of time.
Makes sense.
Or the culture shifts and they catch on to that wave. But I think we just have to grow the space.
Yeah. New men must be born.
I appreciate that. Shout out to Black Men Build.
New men.
Yeah.
New men.
Okay. I want to
What are you thinking about, Eric? I would love to hear your thoughts.
I really am grateful for you speaking between Jamel and I, so I can have a moment to engage in a pause.
Pause.
That's a part of the. That's why we need to circle. Anyways, no, but I think so. I hear you, and I hear your boundary, and I hear what you're saying. Like, this is not something I have a lot of space for, and so
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, you said I have very little patience for 35 people.
Men over the age of 35, they can't sit with themselves. Yes.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Exactly.
I think somebody has to do it, but I hear you on saying that it's not you.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I have low patience. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying. Let me explain this.
Yeah,
the invitation is always open. The
Okay.
doors of the churches are always open. So when you reject the invitation today, tomorrow, 3 years from now, you know what? Whenever you decide to come, the door's open.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But I'm also saying, like, we cannot continue to build fragile environments. That's what's creating this environment where all of this misogyny, manosphere things live, is because we are creating fragile environments that can't take very tough conversations, which is why I appreciate the men's circle, because it's not fragile.
Got you.
And you know what? This is also why, how do I say this in a way that Erica can appreciate? Because we spent some time in our masculine. Let me be in my feminine.
I love that.
Where my real power lies.
Talking.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My good brother Jordan got married this past week.
Come on.
Shout out to
That
Jordan.
was
Yes,
one
sir.
of the best weddings
In
I've
Desi.
ever been to.
It was a
Yes.
real party wedding.
And one of the things that we did was the day before the wedding, some of the guys in the wedding, we had a defense training class with Denzel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We did boxing that day. You know, with Denzel, you really don't know what you're going to get.
You don't
know what I mean?
because he
Might
can
be
do so
tumbling.
much.
He might have us out here, you know what I'm saying?
Being a Power Ranger, you
making
gonna do
fire out of
anything.
water.
Nah, for real.
He might have us out here climbing a mountain with our hands. I
Nah,
don't know
for
what
real.
he got us, going to have us doing. But he had us in there doing the boxing training. You know me, I enjoy the sport of boxing. It was interesting to see people kind of experience those techniques for the first time. And have a physical engagement with men that is a contact sport, right? A martial art without the ego and stuff, because you actually center the learning, right? It's not me trying, I'm not trying to take your head off.
I'm not trying to knock you out.
We're trying to learn together. And it's a physical thing, and I like martial arts for that reason. Because one, it'll humble you.
Nah, for real. In a heartbeat.
It'll humble you. You'll realize I don't actually want to start a fight with a random stranger. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
The more you learn about fighting, the less you want to fight.
That's real.
It is incredibly dangerous, especially at this age where our bodies are big, the consequences are large legally. Like, there's a lot that you learn about yourself in martial arts.
Come on.
And I think men
Teach
should
it.
really, really, really invest
Teach
into learning a martial art. Not for some wicked, violent, macho,
Teach it.
crazy thing, because it teaches you about your body,
Yes, sir.
how to control your body,
Yes, sir.
what you can and cannot do with your body, and what other people are capable of doing with their bodies.
Yeah.
And it's a very grounding and humbling experience, especially if you do it with the homies, because now it's like, it's love in the room, and it's
Yeah.
like, I may be able to show you a couple things. Giselle can show you more. I don't know how to kick nobody, okay? I don't know how to kick nobody. But we can learn this thing together, and we can do it in a space where there's care and compassion.
I appreciate that. I like that. Thank you for lifting that up. And that, I think, that feels like the energy of the men's circle. Because it feels like we're in this learning place together. We are maybe struggling with some things, but it's principle struggle, and it's with some love and care. I appreciate that. So shout out to you. I can't wait to hear more about that.
What's been going on in your life, Erica?
I saw Sinners.
Oh, great.
She finally did it, y'all.
Great.
She finally did it. Insert applause. She finally did it.
Hey, I saw it.
Okay.
Gosh, it was as good as y'all said it was. I see why people keep going back,
Yep.
because it feels like a love letter to Black people. It is especially Black people in the South,
Yep.
who know what those hot, sticky summers feel like outside, eating some peaches or outside in some or in somebody's house with no air conditioner.
Yeah.
Where they got outhouses, like it feels like that. But it's also like it's interesting to see Black people be humanized, and to see music used in that way. I mean, I knew everybody died. I knew that, and that's one of the reasons I avoided seeing it, because I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to like hold that. But I wasn't as devastated as I thought I was gonna be.
Why do you think? Why do you think that happened? Like, what about the movie made you less devastated?
I think because there was so much music and possibility. I think what it did was reminded me of the of the legacy of that I come in, like the Black liberation struggle, the legacy of my people, and that how oftentimes I'm in the room with my ancestors and even those who are yet to come. Yeah. And one, it feels like a heavy weight to be like, damn, I'm in this moment and I'm the one that is in this realm fighting for us. And I'm feeling the support of those who have come before me and those who are yet to come. But that's what I left with, really. And I think it was because of that scene, but also because how Ryan Coogler does a great job of showing like what transitioning out of this physical
he does it every
space
time.
Can be. Yeah. Yeah.
That's dope. What'd you think about the music?
Oh my God. I love the music. Yeah, I love the music. It was good. I've been listening to the soundtrack. Yeah.
Of course.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I got another question. What did you think about, I think they are Korean or Chinese?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I think
Asian.
they said Chinese.
There's a historical the
they're
reason why I'm
talking
trying to
about
get it accurate because it is historically accurate.
Yeah.
That group of people was in the Deep South during that time.
They in Clarksdale, wasn't it?
With markets. There's a documentary about it. But what did you think about their relationship to the Black community, right? Because we know, like, in current day, we have a somewhat strained relationship to Asian business owners, Black community. Yeah. There's a somewhat strange relationship in some spaces. Interesting to see where they are seemingly harmonious in that neighborhood, and then the person that invites the vampires in.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like people had hinted at that on the internet before I saw it. I was more upset with Mary.
Oh,
I was more upset with her.
Yeah,
but the lady who was like, "Hey, I gotta save my daughter, so I'd rather go out fighting."
Right.
If I'm gonna say, like, that's how I felt about it.
And I can't leave her
and
out
I'm like,
there.
We done invited the ancestors into the room. We might as well fight. I'm like, you gotta fight. And so I kind of.
But you go.
But
you ain't go outside and fight.
But that's the thing. They also wouldn't let her go outside because she tried to go outside.
She did try to go outside.
But the other thing though is interesting because I'm like, she also took away their choice to decide whether they wanted to fight, and that I think is a huge issue. Yeah. But they took away her choice to leave. Yeah. So it's like
it's complex. It's like what do I do? Yeah. How do I save my daughter?
How do I save my daughter? I mean, she wasn't gonna save her.
And you wasn't gonna be able to do it. So logically, none of your plans.
But her daughter is saved because they killed all the vampires.
Not because of her.
Well, nah, but that's what ended up happening.
Yeah, she would have just held it down. Then.
Yeah, it could have. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably. Yeah. But she took away their agency and choice, and that was foul. Yeah.
Yeah, that particular character or those particular like relationships make me think of like the model minority. That's what that makes me think about. You know what I'm saying? Even as we talk about like the taking away of choices, I think it means something different when. And this is definitely not a polished thought, but I do think it means something different if we apply colorism, and we understand that the darker the skin the person is, they're usually the most oppressed, the more oppressed they feel. When someone that feeling that much oppression feels the need to take away someone else's choice, it's usually out of a protection of understanding that they're going to experience the most backlash.
Right.
But when a person that is on the opposite end of that spectrum decides to take away everybody's choice, it actually has a devastating impact on everyone behind them.
What also is important for me is that they had two stores. They had a store for Black people and a store for white people.
And that's what I mean.
They was moving.
That's what I mean.
it was interesting.
They was moving
That's what I
different
mean.
anyway.
That's what I
This
mean.
one, you know, I saw that.
And even with like frayed relationships, right? And I think it's very complex, right? I think it's very complex. Even working in that intersection is complex, because you experience a form of racism that like you don't understand. And this is, I'm speaking from personal experience, right? Where I was working in that intersection, and I had a homie that was an ally at the time that was a non-black person,
Yeah.
and was like, hold on, bro, she just said something racist to you, and I had no idea what was being said, and he literally was just like, hold on, we finna stop everything, we finna get her out of here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which I appreciate that in principle, but working at that intersection, like even in that movie where they can cross streets
Yeah.
of a segregated town,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
going down.
And
That's
it's
a
like
lot of nuance there.
you gotta make a commitment to be principled if you gonna move that way, or at least work in that intersection in a way that is like, I'm actually trying to make sure we get some wins and get some liberation out here.
Yeah.
So.
Also, similar in the earlier part of that scene.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie when Smoke pulls up to the shop, right, to get the sign and the stuff,
Yeah.
and he get the little girl to sit in the car.
Yeah.
And he like, all right, so I'm gonna pay you this much to sit in the car. He's like, that's cool. She like, yeah. He like, no, this how you negotiate.
Yeah.
Immediately.
And I'm like, that's what it's like to be in community where somebody's like, all right, first I'm gonna give you an opportunity to do your thing. If you do it wrong, I'm not gonna slight you because I can get over.
Nah, for real.
I'm gonna be
That's
like,
real.
actually, you should be paid
But why
more.
he shoot them people though?
That's code. That's another thing.
Called being a gangster.
That's another thing. There's code. One, they shouldn't have been trying to steal from that little girl car.
That's real.
They was morally foul.
They shot him?
And also, what I'm trying to do is so crazy right now. We done stole the money from the Irish and the Italians,
In
and we
Chicago.
done bought the Klan's barn. We
In
moving.
Mississippi.
Okay.
We
Ooh.
moving tough. We moving tough.
In Mississippi, though.
I gotta
Clarksville.
shoot you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I can't let you run off unshot.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I was gonna say the other thing that I think is really interesting is that people are like holding Annie and like Smoke's love in this like high regard, and
You
I'm
mean
like,
Mary?
No, Annie is the
Oh, my fault. Yeah.
Annie and Smoke in this like high, like, oh, I want this kind of love, and it's like, actually, no, I don't want that. He left her for 7 years as they were grieving the loss of their baby.
Or did he leave her or was he grieving?
Okay, but he still left though.
That's the impact. Yeah.
He still left. Both of them could have been grieving, and he left and came back and put her in harm's way. He didn't love her enough to live for her and make strategic decisions. I don't want that. Ain't love.
Did he not love her enough, or did he not love himself enough?
That's why what you say the last time, if you don't love yourself
First.
enough, you can't even love.
Yeah.
He didn't. I'm like, no, y'all can.
I
May
will
that love
say
not
this:
find me.
grief
Yeah,
shows up in a lot
but
of ways.
he's-
I
Tough
grieve
thing.
different. That's
Yeah.
what Kendrick said.
Yeah.
I agree. I can agree with that and still mean like, okay, you have been grieving. Cool. We took some time apart. I prayed for you. I loved you while you were apart from me. And then you come back home and get
Can
her
I add some
killed.
context though? He grieving and she telling him the whole time, "I'ma just pray to this piece of dirt, and I'ma rub oil on the table, and I'ma burn this piece of paper, and we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. I'ma do this. I'ma do that." And he said, "Why come none of that stuff work?"
He did. I saw him say
So
that,
he
yeah.
feel betrayed. He feel like she gassed him up. You gassed me up. You gassed me up. You gassed me up, and you don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he still left
So now,
though.
yeah.
And when he came back with harm. Like he came back with stolen goods and put her in harm's way.
Acceptance is hard.
The Irish or the Italians ain't had nothing to do with that. if we
Nah,
be
for real.
That's true.
I don't know what to tell you on that one.
That
I
is
don't know what to tell
fair.
you on that one.
That's a good point. I can
Yeah.
hold that. Yeah. I don't know. It's something about like him leaving while they were in the midst of like them experiencing this huge loss.
Is
And
there
then showing up 7 years later.
is there such thing as delusional spirituality though? In the level of harm that creates on the people that it touches.
I think you might be okay.
Also, I rock with that. Also,
It's something
I think
It's
it's
up there. Yeah. Come on. Let's talk
I also think it's interesting that Ryan Coogler sent him away for 7 years.
Yeah. Why? Say more.
The number 7.
That's funny the way you said it.
Yeah.
It's really not his fault. It's Ryan's fault whole time.
But for a character to go away 7 years and come back a different person.
Yeah.
7 creation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And in the 8th year, they die together.
They
and
died
end up
together
in the
the
other room with
7th
their
year.
baby.
It's
Yeah,
7th year.
You
We're
right.
still in the
You right.
7th year.
7th year.
The movie didn't take
The day of rest.
over.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even God rested.
Okay.
Exactly.
They got their rest.
But I think what I was gonna say is what I saw that is like a cocooning, some people again have a very difficult time on the first stage of grief, which is acceptance, and so some people when they have a difficult time with acceptance, guess what they do?
They
Avoid,
leave. Avoid. That's real.
and leave.
And also, he might have put her in harm's way, but he saved her afterlife.
He did. That is true.
Did he free her or did he harm her? I guess it depends on how
Ryan
you look
Coogler
at
do
the
that
time.
though. He talk about death in the same way.
Back to Mike's point though about what did you say?
Delusional spirituality.
So I'm just thinking about how in certain revolutions, right? There
That's real.
is
That is
right.
real. What you
They're
about to say is
we
real.
have to be really honest
What?
about the material,
Oh.
right?
Oh, you
Because if not, then we allow
you spitting facts.
what actually cannot sometimes not be touched and traced
You
to confuse us and prevent us from acting.
you speaking facts.
So
Say more. What you mean? Make it real. Talk about material.
Like
Let me tell you something. You can pray all day long. God, 99 times out of 100, ain't gonna snap his fingers and you wake up a billionaire. It's
No.
not.
what?
It ain't gonna happen, bro.
That ain't even how you supposed to
it's
use
this
it.
mysticism thing where it's like, oh, I can just, rub God or rub spirituality like a genie, and all of a sudden these things are gonna happen, but I won't have to do any work.
Yeah.
And so I think that we have to be really clear about what our work is in the physical. So then, if there's a spiritual aspect that it supports the work that we are doing.
But it's also a confusion of what is the work, right? Because if I'm a farmer, but my homie love the Lord, and then like God is gonna bless us, we just got to do the work. I'm praying in the fields every day. I done put baby oil on every blade of grass.
Baby oil, that's gonna. Okay.
This is my point. They think I'm out here doing the work
No, you gotta
day
plant
in, day
seeds.
out.
You
It's
gotta
like,
be like,
no,
what
the
is-
work has to be relevant to the goal.
Yes.
You can't do byproduct work. Like, it needs to be the directly aligned work.
Yeah. No, that's so real. I'm gonna sit more with that on like the leaving, because I was like, ugh. He laughed and came back and was like, come fry some fish.
Maybe it's triggering.
No.
You're already on the couch. Let's do it.
Not you're already on the couch. First say you already on the couch, let's do it.
Like, what did that bring up for you? And why were you so offended?
Right.
I don't know.
No,
You know
that's
what
me.
else I loved?
What?
They driving with the my boy, the blues man, the gold tooth.
Yeah.
And he drive by all the dudes he was supposed to be locked up with.
Yeah.
And he tell the story, and he like, you know them? He like, I know all of them. And he was like, hold on, slow down, I gotta say something to him. Like something about like survivor's guilt, right? It's something about survivor's guilt in there. There's something in there also about us being, in the same vein, very spiritual and emotional beings as men,
And
as black
connected.
men particularly, and not having healthy avenues to deal with that, and that mixing with the healthy avenues that we do have. It's like
No,
we
for
saw
real.
so many intersections at the same time,
Yeah.
because like I have a healthy outlet with this music, right? This music ain't enough for me to process stuff.
Yeah.
This music ain't enough for me to understand what it is I'm experiencing
Which is
and
why he
feeling,
used
and
to
this
drink
music
so
ain't
much.
enough to save them from being locked up on a chain gang.
Right.
So I drink every day, but I'ma still hold on to this music because I gotta hold on to that. I got that. I got this corn liquor. we gonna thug it out together. It was very interesting. 'Cause I think it's so many people living like that. You know, I think I've lived like that at times. I think a lot of people that are creative and have outlets that they trust and they're faithful to. I think a lot of times we pour so much into that and it become disheartening when it's not enough. It's not enough to
good.
actually deal with
That's good.
with what it is you're experiencing. I can express it. I can pour it out
That's good.
all
That's
day.
good. That's good. That's
Music
good.
will give you the outpour.
Yeah.
It won't necessarily give you the inpour.
Right.
And I think that's where the drug addiction comes in. That's where the
Yeah.
alcoholism and all the other
Or
things
even
come
the
in. 'Cause
addiction
I
to
need something.
work. 'Cause
Yeah.
mine was my work, where it was
Yeah.
like, work is gonna fill me up.
Yeah.
When people was like, they was married to the game, I was.
I built this.
I was married to it. And when I had to divorce myself from it in a way where it was like, this cannot be all that I am, I was like, oh, there's a lot I gotta do to like actually address these things.
Yeah.
And it's the same, whether it's music or
Yeah.
alcohol
Yeah.
or whatever that is trying to, that I'm using to cope. And I think the other thing somebody reminded me was like, some of that is like, there's wisdom there in being like, I don't have time to process this now, but now that I do,
Yeah.
I owe it to myself
I can
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
to do it, to come out on the other side
Or
of
I
it.
don't
That's
have
good.
tools to process
Yeah,
this.
that's
but
fair
I
too.
know this song is what I can hold on to, and that'll at least carry me until I can find the tool.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Have you had anything that has been that for you?
Yeah,
if
like
you had to?
as I saw y'all had this conversation. As I saw y'all had this conversation, I was just marveling at how unfragile that motherfucker was.
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah,
real.
Yeah.
How like literally we just talked about how the process of emotionally maturing, right? Moving from a place of leaning on something as an addiction, right, to emotional security, to actually processing it in a way to becoming a better person, not only for you and for the future. And I think more folks need that ability.
Hold on, you think
Yeah.
his character was unfragile?
I think everybody. I think the whole conversation we just had
Okay.
was a process of talking about that.
That's
Because some people even lean on Jesus. We got songs,
unhealthily sometimes.
right? And so that's what I was thinking through.
That's real. No, I
Just to
think
return back to Mike's point.
No,
Go full circle.
actually, no, he came back.
Yeah.
But I think about that moment in the car where he starts humming.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of like, my grandfathers, how they would be in that church and they would do that like singing in that deep
Yes, sir.
tone and you couldn't all the way understand the words, but you felt it and you knew that it was stirring something up, right?
You know, when I was
and
a
it was some type
kid,
of process in there.
I used to think everybody knew a song that I didn't know.
Right?
Oh, yeah. No.
And
And they're like, they don't know the song either.
Yeah. They just doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
But
just we're feeling
But
it.
again, that's why I'm like, sometimes we can get caught up in delusion about the spiritual stuff, but sometimes
Yeah.
it's some stuff happening. It's some
100%.
processing.
Yeah.
It's some healing. It's some transforming. It's some stuff that's
And
being
it's
downloaded.
some supernatural understanding.
Yeah, in them hums.
Because
oh my God.
because I think it happens too in the creative space and we can touch it.
Right.
We touch it. I don't know if we fully wrap our arms around it, but in the creative space, we touch it oftentimes where it's like you trying to, let's say you in the studio, you in there with a bass player. You know the song that you're thinking of in your head. He don't have your brain to know it. But we trying to figure it out. I'm trying to use the English language to explain what it feels. I might say it's like bluer than this, or it's this, or it's that. And eventually the note happens and we both know that it's the right note.
It's the right one.
But we don't have the language for what it is that we're trying to say.
Yeah.
So I think oftentimes in the musical world, we are able to touch that thing. And people that are supremely gifted and supremely talented and put a lot of work in, they can conjure it.
Yeah.
So what you both have me thinking about is like, what is the ritual that goes along with our work that allows people to access power and understand themselves in real time?
Singing? That's
Because
what y'all want me to say.
We
No,
do.
well, I think it's
want you to
a
do
mix a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's like I've been listening to South African anti-apartheid songs, and they all have a similar rhythm, right? I was watching this video of this group of students in Soweto marching, and you know how when we march, it might be when I say people, you say power, people,
Power.
people. So
Power.
it might be like that, right? But when they marching, it's like a 1 2 1 2 1 2
tempo's
3
faster.
1 2 1 2 1 2 3, and it's like a beat that is going insanely fast.
Yeah.
And I remember watching them approach a line of police officers in South Africa, and the beat is going so fast, there's no way they finna stop. I'm like, oh, they finna cream this ball. They are going so quick. It's not a slow thing. So I'm like, what is the song, but what is the rhythm? What is the vibration? What is the ritual to get us grounded in a space where we could take on a mountain and feel like we finna run through that bad boy?
I'm having a thought, and it's not fully manifested yet, but it's interesting that that's faster, Afrobeat and house music, which is black-made genres, are also at a faster tempo. Yeah. And once you get the blues, once people leave the continent, right? Now, they may have carried pieces of that, but something about, and I could be way off here.
That's good.
But something about the tempo and the speed at which people move on homeland versus the speed and tempo in which they move elsewhere is different.
Can I say something? Because it's in many churches, particularly like black churches, you experience both. Like you experience that blues, low, and then once the spirit, it gets faster.
It gets
right?
faster.
It gets faster.
When people catch the Holy Spirit, and because the little beat, I was hearing the drums go do 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 whatever it is, you know it better.
Yeah.
But it's like it moves you through. It carries you through a different moment. Yeah.
And it's a reason it's called a river song, right? Because it's moving. It's like it's quickening.
And you experiencing different moments during different periods of that, of that time in worship, or in other spaces too. But yeah.
Could it be that it's cyclical, right? And that it's like the reason we start church service off praise and worship, right? It's slow, it's deliberate, it's guided, right? And then by the time we get to the pastor's end of his sermon and the drums and everything is going, we've been attuned through a process, right? Of learning, of communication, of organization. We've been attuned to a process to where we can now all be on the same rhythm that is quite honestly hard to clap to sometimes.
It is. Look, Erica be on beat.
Hold on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. As a rhythmic people.
Some of y'all can't catch it.
Some churches, they be going fast now, and you lose it.
Boy.
You lose the clap a little
clapping.
bit. Especially when they start the double clap. Thank you, Eugene. They start the double clap, now you're showing off.
I just keep my clap. And I can't do the dance.
Yes, you can.
I can't.
You can.
Okay.
That moment just ain't hit
Life
yet.
and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yeah. I'm 35, and I ain't never been able
That
to
ain't no
catch
excuse.
it.
That ain't no excuse.
That is some talent. That is some oil right there.
Yeah. But I like the fact that Sinners held all of this.
It did.
Yeah,
it
was a really good thing.
Really
and for it to
did.
be in Clarksdale, Mississippi was,
absolutely beautiful.
every time we see that type of stuff on the screen, our people get a little bit better at organizing.
We've only seen them a handful of times where we've seen this out. And it's crazy because like when ATL came out, folks were like, oh, that's us. Like, folks all over the South felt like, oh, this feels like my culture. And it's so, because you get Boys in the Hood, you get New York, you get LA, you get Chicago. You don't oftentimes get big movies in the South with no slaves in it.
We had Color Purple. The not even the first one. The first one I still didn't like that much, but the one with Fantasia. Yeah,
that was
I feel like that was
good.
That was
That's
deep
one.
in the South. Yeah. I saw a lot of the people I know in that film and in the book too.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't think of any other ones right now though.
I'm gonna push this ahead, y'all. This is good.
Okay.
Yeah. On this day in history.
Oh yes. Ooh, speaking of the South.
Come on.
Talk that Southern.
Harriet Tubman, July 2nd. Led an action to free over 800 enslaved Africans. It's 1863. That's my history. She was in combat, and she worked to free our people, over 800 people.
That's real.
Yeah, that's significant.
No, that's real.
In between timelines.
That's real.
Yep.
Now, Harriet Tubman is such a mystical character that people don't think she's real. That's how.
I know she's
That's
real.
how humongous. Fleeting in the wind.
Yeah.
You know
Could
what?
you imagine? People would be like, that person ain't real. It's like, no, we have photos and all kind of stuff.
Right.
We got a pistol.
That's my new goal. That's my new goal in life. When I'm gone, I want people to think that I'm a myth.
Bro.
I want to be a legend, like a oratorical. I want there to be like fictional stories made up based on me.
What's wild though is in her time they thought that she wasn't real.
Yeah.
That's what's wild.
Oh wow.
It's like they didn't really confirm that she was real until she started leading the Union Army into the South.
Oh,
They
so
was
you said
like,
I ain't gonna do it. Never mind. Okay,
no,
I'll take it.
no. You can do it. But I'm just saying, it might be somebody watching that camera right now that might not think none of us are real. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could be. Could be.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Mine is pretty new. How late is? What's your year?
Oh, I can go next.
Yeah.
So.
No, actually, let me go next because mine's
okay.
not very good. All right, June 2nd.
Oh, goodness. Make Harriet proud. Make her proud.
I'm going to connect it. I was struggling this go around.
I know it's about to be crazy.
Come on, man.
June 2nd, 2023. Gonna drop Bread and Butter.
No.
Oh, yeah.
And I just think it's a 5 song.
Get out.
He got a lot going on, too, right now.
I just think it's 5, bro. Like, he came out, he dropped a banger. But it was chill, though. It was very calm. It was the praise and worship. We still waiting on the celebration.
Okay.
He got to circle back around to the celebration record. Because
Circle
I need one. Well, Rodeo was pretty turned, too.
Rodeo
Y'all
goes
be
crazy.
knowing the songs.
But,
Okay.
I'm on the block of
yeah.
Rodeo.
I listen to good music, man. It is what it is.
Make us a playlist. It's hard to find music.
Girl, I can't believe Erica just said that.
What's your history, Jamel?
So I'm gonna take y'all to Greenwood, Mississippi.
Come on.
It's 1966, June 2nd. Snick is down there. Snick is at its prime, right? Snick is at its prime. All right. It is the March Against Fear. The March Against Fear is a direct action Snick had developed, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, to walk through Mississippi and register rural farmers as they walked. Okay, which is very important. 2 days, maybe a week, 2 days before, Kwame Ture, then known as Stokely Carmichael, chairman of SNCC, just got out of prison. Okay?
Jail or prison?
Jail. He just got out of jail. All right? Now, as they've been doing the march, the way SNCC would do their marches is they would send organizers ahead of the march to let the farmers know that they were coming and to register people to vote as they moved. Okay? So just imagine a crowd, but in front of that crowd are organizers that are knocking on farmers' doors because they had to be in the front because that's how far they got to get back to the group. You see what I'm saying? So they in front, all right? So one of the organizers, I can't remember his name, I guess he had been talking to farmers all day. He like, he like Stokely. Farmers is talking about we want black power. We don't just want to register to vote.
This is good.
He was like, farmers is talking about they want a little black power in this bad boy.
good.
This Greenwood, Mississippi now.
I love that.
He like, hey, he telling Stokely, hey,
good.
Stokely at the time, later Kwame Ture, he telling him, hey, you might want to say that black power at the next meeting, at the next time. You might want to let that go. You might want to let that go.
Oh my goodness.
So Kwame, and the photos are crazy from this time, right? The photos are, it's like you could tell, you know how it's
Was Dr. King there?
No, he was not there at this one. You know how you can see a photo and it'd be really dark, but you can see a lot of people, but you can really only see like 3 people clearly. So the photo from June 2nd, 1966, is Stokely Carmichael in overalls, standing on top of he's standing on top of something that looked real shaky. It definitely like somebody holding him up, right? He got a mic in his hand. Ain't no telling what it's connected to because you can't see no speaker. You see a crowd of probably like 15 people, but you could tell it's a lot of folks out there and it's dark. And that's the first time he lets it go, black power. And they say the crowd goes crazy because they had never heard nothing like that. And just to be clear, when we talk about black power, we're talking about self-determination, the ability of black folks to not only live where they want to live, be who they want to be, express in the way they want to express, but also because black people get the ability to do that, everyone else does. So black power is not like the other forms of that where it's like everybody else has to have no power in order for black power to exist. Actually, black power is encompassing of everything, right? It's encompassing of all of it, right? And so when Kwame lets that go, it's not this superiority thing that people that weaker minds try to turn it into. It's actually not only black power, it's all power to all people, right? And all power to the Vanguard Party. That's all I got.
That's good. Thank you. That was a good one.
All power to the organization.
Yes, sir.
All power to the homeland.
Oh, yes, sir. All power to the doctrine. The advocates of Kawaii.
Okay. Shoot. That might be all I got, y'all.
Yeah.
I think we did it. Y'all got any conspiracy theories?
Nah, yeah, I mean,
Oh, we tripping.
Oh, yeah.
this ain't June 2nd,
No.
but June 3rd.
Yeah.
The Southern Movement Committee,
Yeah, sir.
in the year of our Lord 2025,
Yeah.
will be at City Council. That's tomorrow.
Yep.
If you're listening to this on Monday, June 2nd.
Yep.
June 3rd, we're going to be
Tomorrow.
at public comment down there at City Hall.
Yep.
Advocating for the varsity spending plan created by the Southern Movement Committee.
Yeah.
And we will be out there in full force.
Full force.
So come join us.
Yep.
We are, we've been talking about the varsity spending plan for a long time on this podcast, but if it's your first time tuning in, somebody want to break down the varsity spending plan for them real quick, real fast.
Varsity spending plan is a $10 million budget request to invest in our communities to prevent gun violence and invest in community-driven forms of safety. It includes $2 million to increase restorative justice programming in local high schools, $4 million to expand community center programming, and $4 million to the first in the country Office of Youth Safety that is driven, developed, and built by young people and their families in Nashville, Tennessee.
And it is important to note
Yes.
That
The Southern Movement Committee is not advocating for us to receive $10 million.
Yes.
We're advocating for the innovative policies that create the varsity spending plan to get a full $10 million.
Yes.
Hey, look, man, we coming for the chip.
Absolutely,
We coming
every
for the
single time.
chips with the dips.
And just so folks know, right, the biggest bag is at your local government. So we are definitely working to get that allocated in ways that make sense for our folks.
Yeah, it is.
organized.
So look, man, this is beautiful, man. This was a good episode, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
High five.
Yeah. Also, we're gonna be in these jerseys too.
You know,
We're gonna be
You
in
get a jersey if you
we're gonna
speak.
be we're gonna be in
You
these
speak up.
jerseys too.
You gotta earn these
We're gonna be about
jerseys, though.
we're gonna be about 40 deep in,
I don't-
in
don't
varsity
listen to
spinning
what she
plan
said.
jerseys. Yeah,
Do not iron
don't do
these
that.
jerseys.
Yeah, don't do
Earn
that.
them.
Earn
Earn
them.
them.
Earn.
earn.
Earn
Earn.
Oh, my fault.
Nah, earn.
I'm country.
Earn.
That's
Earn.
me. Okay, my fault.
I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie, I might be in all white. You might see me in white
Like
trousers,
Denzel?
white forces.
White Timberlands.
Yeah, all that with the white do-rag. I
White
might be
silky.
all white boy talking to city council.
Look.
Okay.
I ain't
So
seen
yeah, it's
nothing
a
like this,
beautiful thing,
folks.
man. It's been a beautiful process.
Yeah.
So excited to see our young people shine on Tuesday.
Mm.
But yeah, man, we here. This is the Good to Goods podcast, episode 38.
Yes, sir.
38.
And we know if we work together,
we
win
win
together.
together.
we win together.
We
change the world.
The world.
Peace, y'all.
Peace. Oh, that was good.
Good stuff.
Great
We got
episode.
into it. We was about to fight in this
Great
house.
What was you about to fight about?